Not a damn chance. Not a damn chance.
If I want to make fantastic fries at home,
Mm-hmm.
walk me through the steps.
Do
I need to soak the potatoes after I
So it kind of
slice
depends on specifically what you want to do, but ideally, yeah. So here's the sort of you'll want to take potatoes. If you're gonna make, I'll tell you how to make easy chips first. Chips.
Oh, I love this idea. Yes. Do I have to use a mandolin?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have this.
Put on a plastic glove, like a nylon glove.
A plastic glove will help you with the mandolin.
You will not cut yourself.
Because my husband, it drives me fucking crazy. We will get the mandolin out. And I don't know if this is like a dude thing, but he refuses to use the plastic.
Yeah, don't use the plastic thing, but put a glove on.
No, but I want him to use the plastic thing because I'm worried he's going to take a digit off. Those suckers are sharp.
I've lost the whole thing before. You just put on a glove.
Yeah. It usually
because
gets
if you have a glove, what will happen is you will stop.
Oh.
It will penetrate the outer layer of the glove. Now you can put enough pressure to put your hand through it if you really want to, but no, you won't.
But we had an issue 2 months ago where Chris is cooking and I was upstairs on a call and all of a sudden I hear this, Mel, get down here. And he has sliced the tip of one of his fingers off.
Yeah.
No.
And this sucker's spurting and he's like wrapped it all up and now he wants me to help him. I was so useless. I couldn't, I started shaking. I'm the same way if a dog throws up, I just start to, like some people, if you see the dog throw, you're like, I can't pick it up.
Yeah.
I could not believe how much blood there was. We saved the tip. It looked like a skin contact lens.
Yeah.
Turns out there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, no. You can,
Let me see.
You can see.
Oh, God, you have a divot there.
Yeah, so I caught that straight down. I mean, I have it everywhere. The thing about cutting yourself is you never cut yourself in the same spot twice, but there's a lot of spots to cut yourself.
Wait, what? You don't?
No.
Is that like a brain thing? Like your hands now know that's...
Is it possible to cut yourself in the same spot twice? Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like your mind starts to understand, like muscle memory. It's like, last time I was there, I caught that, so I just moved back a little bit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Does the same thing happen with boarding? Like, do you, like, if you get into a certain type of accident, does it...
I mean,
more variables.
Yeah. There's more variables because it kind of comes, obviously you're doing kind of something dangerous in the first place. So it kind of just happens by surprise, but you do learn from your mistakes, right? Just like anything else in life, right? If you put your hands behind you when you slip out from a ledge, you usually break your wrist. That's usually how that happens. So then you learn not to put your wrist behind your body when you fall backwards. You like basically do a coffin fall and you take it to like your butt or your back, or you learn how to roll out of it. But every so often, one will sneak up on you. You know what I mean? And you will put that hand back and you're like, oh no, like hopefully you get away with
or
just
you have
a
all
sprain.
the asphalt in your hand. Yes.
Or a sprain, a sprain sometimes can be worse than a break. It just takes forever to heal and you can't do anything with that hand, but you do learn from your mistakes, and that's kind of the whole thing with skateboarding. Like people that make it far in skateboarding, you learn how to fall and you learn how to like expect, you learn what to expect from each type of fall and how to get away from it. Like it's like strategic, wild attempts, so it looks crazy from like an untrained eye, but the skateboarder knows what they're doing and they know how to get out of it.
That's pretty cool.
It's like it's just micro adjustments. Like I grew up skateboarding, and I credit a lot of my current mindset in life to both skateboarding and video games, because both of them are about trying and failing, and failing. No trick. Once you can do a trick easy, you move on to something else.
Yeah,
so it's
same
not
with
about
a level in a video game.
It's not about playing the easiest thing. It's about finding the thing that's just out of reach and then trying so hard over and over again, making micro adjustments until you beat it. Then you get to the next level. And so I think with skateboarding, that really trained me Because like the biggest thing is like you and your friends like, oh, you're so close. You're so close. Yeah. You're so close. And every time it's like I pop a little bit later, pop a little bit earlier, move my foot a little bit this way, I fall this way until you finally get it. And then it's the biggest, celebration.
I love that visual.
And then you don't do it again. Then you land that trick once and you're done. And then you move on to the next trick. Yep.
I love that visual though of when you were going, oh, you're so close, you're so close, you're so close. Because in the example you just gave, you have the thing that is missing for most people, which is the encouragement to keep going. Yeah. See, I've come to believe that the biggest thing that stands in people's way is not their capability. It's this sense of discouragement that even if I try, it's not going to work out. So why bother?
Yeah.
And so I love that little kind of vignette that you just described because it's such a beautiful thing that tends to happen in that moment or when you're a little kid or whatever. But oftentimes that's what's missing most.
And that's true because I think if you believe that it's not going to work, it's not going to work.
Correct.
And if you believe there is no possible way for it to not work, then it will work no matter what.
I think you're 100% right because it's not the belief, although there's super cool research about the power of your beliefs and the settings in your mind and how they've proven now in research that the settings in your mind and what you believe changes the biology and physiology of your body.
Wild.
Do you guys know the famous milkshake study?
No.
Okay, so Dr. Aaliyah Crum, Stanford University, studies settings in the mind, mindset. And she pioneered this incredible study called the milkshake study, where here's the setup. The three of us are all part of this research study, and we go into the lab, and we are each given a milkshake. The milkshake is controlled. It's 300 calories. It is the same ingredients, period. But on day one, we are told that the milkshake is 150 calories. And it is marketed with a wrapper and a title that says something like sensible,
Skinny
something like that. And while this is happening, they are doing all your biometrics, including hooking you up to an IV, drawing blood, all this stuff. So as you are drinking what your mind now believes to be 150 calorie sensible shake, that setting in your mind that was set by the marketing and what you were told speaks to the biology in your body. And even though you're getting a 300 calorie milkshake, your body continues to release, is it ghrelin or whatever the hunger hormone is? Because your mind is communicating to your body that it's not enough.
That's not enough. Wow, that's crazy.
Now they take it a step further. So we then come in same time tomorrow or whatever the next day, so they control for like what you may have eaten or not. But today, same milkshake, 300 calories, only the wrapper is that it's indulgent. It's 600 calories. It's fabulous milkshake. Same biometrics. So now they have set your mind to believe this is indulgent and caloric and amazing. Simply due to the settings of the mind, the 300 calories that you are consuming, your body does not release the hunger hormone because it believes that it's being satiated.
Wow.
It is not due to
wild.
They did another study, this famous study with folks that were working as I don't know what the right, like housekeepers, right, at a big hotel. And they take two groups. One group is just doing their job. And, if you're somebody that is in housekeeping at a big hotel, that's a tiring job. I mean, when you think about picking up all that crap and making beds and moving stuff around and pushing carts and filling drawers and all the stuff that goes into it. So they take a group of the folks that are doing that job and they change the settings in their mind by simply saying, did you know that your job is an incredible form of exercise? You're getting X number of steps every day. Like this is the equivalent of like a 45-minute workout in the gym, like your biceps, your this, your that.
Yeah.
The other group, they say nothing to. The group where they change the settings in the mind by simply saying, here's the way to think about your job differently. Within like a month, I don't know the exact stuff because I literally just interviewed Dr. Aaliyah Crum on our podcast last week. Lost weight, blood pressure went down, muscle density changed, simply because of the way the mind was speaking to the body about what was happening.
That's so crazy. They're probably happy too, huh?
Yes.
Because it's like, I'm just working out now.
Yes.
I'm no longer working.
Yes. And to your point, because you said, if you believe it's not going to work, it's not going to, because you're going to be discouraged and you won't do the work.
Yeah.
If you change the settings in your mind and you start to tell yourself something like, through my attitude, through my actions, I can change this for the better, that change in attitude makes you more likely to take the actions to change everything.
It's literally changing the way that you frame something in your mind from I have to I get to.
Yes, that's another one that works really well.
As soon as you get to, it's so fun.
Yeah.
And as long as you have to, it sucks.
True.
And it could be in this scenario, it is the exact same activity.
Yes, because one feels like you have no control. And in any situation where you feel like you have no control, it creates stress and resistance to it, because none of us want to feel like we're being controlled by something else. And the other one, I get to, instantly puts you in control of what you're doing.
So do you think that's what it is?
I do.
Because I was wondering, or I was thinking it kind of is like the 150 versus 600, where it's like, I get to do this thing, and so I'm excited to do this thing, and therefore it changes the way that I'm going to perceive doing this thing.
I think we're both saying the same thing.
Okay.
I just believe that the setting that you changed was one from you're perceiving I have no control here, and we all hate to feel like we're in a situation where we have no control and no choice, to changing the settings to, oh, I get to do this.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, it also taps a little bit into, I think, in some things, examples of that. Like, I get to go to work today, which, for anybody that hates their job, I heard this recent stat that like 69% of people in the United States would quit their job tomorrow if they could. And so when you say, I get to go to work tomorrow, you're also tapping into this, I think, bitch slap that we sometimes need of gratitude. Like, it could be a lot worse. And so let's get my attitude in line here and stop bitching about things that are actually paying the bills that I need to pay.
Definitely.
So were you born with all these ideals?
Oh my God,
where did this come from?
No, it came from screwing up my life. It came from doing life the hard way.
From just falling and falling and falling.
But apparently I'm a really hard learner. I mean, I have to really feel a lot of pain in order to get the lesson that it appears comes to other people easier. And, I'm 57 and I've been married for 29 years, my husband, Chris, and it's an important thing to know, because all the success that everybody sees right now is something that has been 16 years in the making and building in the dark, all the boring, you guys know, all the boring, grueling, pain in the ass stuff that is not glamorous. You don't have any results. You just keep grinding it out. And the way that I learned some of the things that I talk about on stages, on the podcast, in books, it goes back to a story. Well, let me just put it this way. So I learned everything the hard way.
Yeah.
And I had no idea the amount of things that I was struggling with. And I think a lot of us feel that way. And we feel like we're the only one that feels the way that we feel. And something happened to me. It's not the most remarkable story. You'll relate to it because you'll both relate to it because you're in the restaurant business together and you have been in the restaurant business. But my husband decided he wanted to go into the restaurant business at the age of how old was he? Probably 39. He had gotten laid off from a corporate job. He had been laid off a number of times, and he came home and was like, I'm going to follow my dream. I'm going to go into the restaurant business.
Was he a chef, or he just liked restaurants? Or?
Thank you for that. Because I was like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been together for a while. I've never heard this.
It was just out of the blue.
Yes, and I'm like, and by the way, I grew up working in restaurants. Like, I've been in the front of the house, the back of the house, the fryer, the bar back, the bartender, the waiter. I've counted out my tips and folded out my dollars and put them all in order at the end of the night. Like, what do you mean you want to work in the restaurant? Like, what? And so he had this idea with his friend that they wanted to create a small 40-seat park and walk downtown local pizza place.
Okay.
Kind of stone hearth, cold-fired oven, the sourdough crust.
Sounds great.
And you know what? I got to hand it to him. I got to hand it to him. He and his partner, we had, at the time, I was pregnant with our son. Our son's now 20. So we had 2 kids under the age of, I don't know, they must have been like 8 and 5. And we had a little bit of money, not a lot, but we could cut back a little bit. And we figured he had 16 months. He had 16 months to raise money, 16 months to get the cash register flowing. And if he could not get this done in 16 months, your ass is getting a job.
Okay.
And meanwhile, I'm working full time, and like a lot of couples, we're just making it work. We're like barely making our bills paid, but we're going for it. We're in the crunch years. Mm-hmm. And the first location was fantastic. Fantastic. They had a line out the door.
Wow.
They won Best of Boston.
Wow.
They like, and like, we were like, wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow. So like complete idiots, we cashed out our entire life savings. We took out every credit card we could find. We took out a home equity loan and cashed that out. Friends and family invested to go to location 2 and 3.
Okay.
Did I tell you this was 2007?
Oh, wow.
And then 2008 hit. And if you're listening or watching, and you don't know the oh, wow, there was this huge recession that hit in the U.S. The housing market turned upside down. Mm-hmm. And in New England, you'll know this as restaurateurs, we had 5 nor'easters that hit over the weekend, meaning the restaurants that were open were shut down on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And payroll checks started bouncing. There was also some issue with the price of flour, and that went skyrocketing. And the cost of the second location was twice what they thought. So by the time they had the doors open, they were out of money, and they had already signed a cost plus lease on the third location. They started factoring, scrambling, and payroll checks are bouncing. Chris hasn't been paid for 6 months. I lose my job. And at the age of 41, with 3 kids under the age of 10, we found ourselves $800,000 in debt.
Oh my God.
Liens hit the house. The phone started ringing off the hook. So I just unplugged it. I mean, it didn't make the creditors go away, but it made the call stop. The bills started to pile up on the counter.
Oh my.
He would hide in the basement of one of the locations as creditors were walking through, or the suppliers were like, the produce people were looking to get paid.
Yeah.
Employees' checks were bouncing. Like, it was so harrowing. And I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and says, I think today I'm going to fuck up my life. Like, what happens is, you got to be careful, because you can get so caught up chasing something that you start to make decisions that are not truly aligned with your values, or you start to make decisions that aren't the smartest thing to do, but you do it anyway. And you start to lie to yourself, and the hole gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's kind of where my story begins. It begins at the age of 41, 16 years ago, waking up unemployed, and 3 kids under the age of 10, and pulling our kids out of the town sports because we can't pay for it. And days you couldn't go to the grocery store. And I was so full of anger. And I think the reason why is it's easier to be angry than it is to be afraid. And I was mad at Chris. I was mad at myself. Friends had invested. I couldn't figure out how we had gotten ourselves into this situation. And I became a person I didn't recognize. Like, I've always been somewhat of a positive person. I've had a very optimistic outlook, and I've always been an extremely hard worker. Always had a job from as little as I can remember. I was figuring out how to make money. I will work anybody. I will outwork anybody. But I hit this moment in my life where I started to believe, settings in the mind, that this could not be fixed, that we had screwed up everything, that we would never get out of debt, that things would never change, that there was nothing we could do. And I started to succumb to that deep sense of despair and discouragement. And, the thing about life is that you always know what you could do. to make something a little better. And in today's world, we have no excuse because you could just go to Microsoft Copilot or any other AI platform and type in the problem.
What should I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, give me a plan for 30 days. It takes 15 minutes a day that would make this slightly better based on research. You'll get the plan. But if you're so discouraged that you go, oh, well, that would work for you guys, but it's not going to work for me, you won't do it.
Yeah.
And your life doesn't change by thinking about it. It only changes through action. And so I was stuck in this place that everybody gets stuck. It's in knowing what you need to do, but not being able to make yourself do it. And when you're in that moment where the anxiety is crushing and the problems seem just so enormous and you start to lose hope, the amount of stress that you feel is never ending. And I knew I needed to find a job. I knew I needed to call my folks and be like, this is what's going on. Could you help us out? I knew I needed to call the bank, even though it was red. Like, the crushing thing about like not having any money in the bank is that if any check then clears, they hit you with the 25, then they hit you with the 50, and then they hit you with the 75, and then they hit you with and it just feels like the hits keep coming. And, I rose to this moment in my life like a champ, basically screaming at my husband whenever I saw him and drinking myself into the ground and hiding in shame and lying about what was going on and telling myself there was nothing I could do. And the fact is, that's not true. There's always something you can do. It doesn't solve your problems overnight, but it absolutely starts to make things better over time.
How long did this last for?
Oh my God. Like, we struggled financially for probably 6 or 7 years.
Did you lose the restaurants, or did they go out of business, or they
Great
kept running?
question. Great question. So what ended up happening is the restaurants continued going. I don't know how they managed to do the high wire act. They ended up getting the third location open.
Wow.
They were able to shut down the second one. And then one of their investors that they were very transparent with came in and was a big restaurant person, understands that out of the first 5 locations or 4 locations, one's always going under. And unfortunately, it was their second. And it basically like took down the ship with them. But location 1 and 3 were solid.
Okay.
But the factoring, the lease, the percentage plus on the leases, like, it was a disaster, and in terms of the P&L and what it actually looked like to operate the business. And then plus, as you know, as owners, the crushing pressure of feeling like you're not going to make payroll, feeling like you can't pay your vendors, feeling like your landlord's about to come in and you're hiding in the bathroom, feeling like...
That never goes away, by the way. It doesn't matter how successful you are or whether or not it's even true. That feeling, that fear of it could go away never goes away.
Yes.
But I also feel like maybe that's a defense mechanism, or some sort of like thing inside you that keeps you fighting to stay... Yeah. Like, it's like, I got to keep my head above water, but then you look down and you're 25 feet off of the water.
Yes.
But you're still fighting for your life.
Yes.
As if you're about to sink.
Well, I think that's a really important thing. And you can stop and ask yourself this right now as you're listening or watching us. Is like my productivity and fuel coming from a sense of the shoe's going to drop, I'm fucked, I got to keep going. Scarcity, fear, which a lot of my success was fueled that way when I started to really build something. Because all I was focused on, I got to pay off the debt. I can't afford to say no. I got to, yes.
Definitely rocket fuel. Maybe not the healthiest fuel.
But at some point.
But it helps.
It does, until it actually is something you notice. Because it is possible to recognize that coming from a sense of, this could all go away, so I better do everything now, which is driven by fear and a lack of trust in self. That is a very different energy than, I can figure this out. I can take a deep breath. I can come and be motivated by a completely different value or a different goal. I can trust in my ability, not like some egoic thing. Because I think when things started to turn around for me and I started to build the business that you see now, it was 1000% driven by survival. Because what ended up happening during this period of our life is I was drunk on bourbon one night and it was a February 2008. Chris was nowhere to be found because he's a smart guy, and I was like a raging bitch. And I'm giving myself that pep talk. That's it, woman. Tomorrow, it's the new you. Yeah. Tomorrow, you got to pull yourself together. You have got to get a job. You have got to tell you have got to be honest with your friends. You've got to start taking care of it. You've got to have one Manhattan, not four. And by God, when that alarm rings, you can't lay there in bed and hit that snooze button 6 times. You have got to get up. You have got to get those kids on the bus. And all of a sudden, this rocket ship, I swear to God, this is what happened. This rocket ship launches across the television screen. And it was probably the bourbon. Because I was like, oh my God, I hear you, God.
Seeing things.
Yeah, I'm going to launch myself out of bed like a rocket tomorrow. That was it. It was a Tuesday morning, February 2008. The alarm rang. And the one thing I believe is you're one decision away from a different life. The decision changes the trajectory. The decision is like a directional signal that points you in a different direction. And the decision for me was the alarm went off, and I immediately remembered that dumb rocket launch thing. And then I made a fatal mistake that all human beings make. Instead of doing what I needed to do, I stopped and thought about how I felt about doing what I needed to do. Mm-hmm. And if you think about something for more than 5 seconds, the automatic loops in your brain just take right over. In come the excuses, in come the old patterns, in comes the anxiety, in comes the fear. And that morning, I felt it. I was like, oh, rocket launch? Like, Jesus, I hate my husband. I hate my life. Like, this fucking sucks. How's getting out of bed? And I'm reaching for the snooze button like I had done every morning for almost a year. And then I just started counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I stood up. And it was just like a blip of a moment. But it felt like I had won because it was the first moment that the fear and the anxiety and the crushing situation that we were in didn't win. Like the will and the resolve to do better did. And that was the beginning. And I just started using this countdown technique every single time there was something I needed to do. I needed a job, but I didn't want to pick up the phone and call people and ask for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, how many of us see other people doing things we want to do, whether it's starting a restaurant or making money online or releasing our music or starting a podcast, and you watch everybody else and you sit and think and talk yourself out of it. And that will always be the case in your life if you cannot teach yourself to take the action before you're ready. And your emotions and the excuses are always going to be there. But you can learn this skill, and this is what this period of my life taught me, that if you can teach yourself how to get out of bed on the mornings when you don't want to, but you simply do it because you said you would, not because of integrity, but because you know that the secret to life is not thinking about who you want to be, but acting like the person you want to be. And you win that battle decision by decision by decision. And I had this tool now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to help me cut through all of the resistance inside me, all of the evidence outside me, all of the overwhelm that was justified, by the way.
Had you heard that somewhere?
No.
You just can't kind of came to you?
I invented it. Like, wow. I was inspired by a rocket on television.
I love that. It's so funny because I have a very similar thing.
You do? Tell me.
I don't use it for everything.
Okay.
It's not like every time I count down.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking with him about it earlier.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from skateboarding. Again,
great.
But like, if I find myself on doing something like I'm just doing this, right?
Yes.
I have this idea that you can step over garbage forever until you realize it's there. Then you're an asshole, right? And so I try to, like anything I'm working on.
Yes.
I'm trying to eat less snacks at night. I'm trying to be on the internet less often.
Yes.
As long I'll go on and I don't even realize I'm doing it.
Yes.
And there's no problem. But as soon as I start to oh shit, I'm doing this.
Yes.
I become an asshole. And I literally give myself 10 seconds to finish up, and then you're done. And I do it with getting out of bed sometimes. I will literally be laying in bed, and I don't want to get out because because if you don't have I don't necessarily have a job where it's like I have to get up at 7:30 every morning. I have to be there by 8 or else this or that. My life is completely propelled.
Yep.
So if I don't get out of bed, I don't have anyone who's going to like fire me.
Yes.
So I could just never get out of bed. Of course, my life would fall apart if I didn't. But I oftentimes will use this to get out of bed.
Yes.
Because I otherwise just lay there. But again, I'm totally fine laying there until I realize I'm an asshole. And then I have 10 fucking seconds to get out of bed or else you're an asshole.
Because then you notice what you're doing basically at that point.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I got to do this.
But I think it comes from skateboarding because like when you were scared to try a trick, you and your friends will count you down. And if you don't fucking drop in at 1, you're a bitch.
3, 2,
well, and listen to this. But so you just nailed it. So I didn't know this at the time. This has been so thoroughly researched now because it's what scientists and researchers call a starting ritual. Mm-hmm. And a starting ritual is an intentional thing that you do to signal beginning something new.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it's a way to engage in pattern interrupt and a signaling to initiate. And what's happening, you said countdown. The 5-second rule does not work if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is when you were taught to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in whatever language you were taught to count in, you have been repeating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forever. That is already in this part of the brain, the basal ganglia. It's in the subconscious programming.
Mm-hmm.
When you count backwards, it requires you to bring your prefrontal cortex online and focus. Like if you think about anything, whether you're counting down a buddy, like initiating a trick, or you're counting in somebody who's going to join in with a band, or special forces is counting down as we're jumping out of an airplane, or an elementary school teacher, 5, 4, everybody starts to focus because it's not something you're doing all the time. So it brings that part of your brain online. That's why it works.
I see.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know that at the time. I was just drunk on bourbon. Like, okay, get out of bed.
Yeah, I wanted to say like, kind of like, I put down like smoking cigarettes and alcohol and stuff. And a friend actually told me it's kind of like the same rule that you apply. It's where if you feel like you're going to act on something like, you know, smoking, you get addicted to it. So like you just want to smoke a cigarette after you eat, before you eat, like when you do this, when you do that, when you get bored.
Yes.
So he would say, when you feel like doing something, and this helped me drastically with putting down cigarettes, is like, give it 5 to 10 minutes. And then pretty much 100% of the time, you don't want to do that thing anymore. Like your brain is off to doing something else. So it's like kind of the same thing. And I wanted to bring that up to you because I know your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'll call it law, right? A rule. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up, like how.
Well, you just gave some really tremendous advice that has so much research around it. So we don't realize how much our environment triggers patterns of behavior. And, you know, if you're somebody that is a smoker, you already labeled it. There are times of day, there are places. So whether it's you love the first cigarette when you get out of bed, you love a cigarette with coffee, you love to be in your car when a song comes on and the windows are down and you light up the smoke. Yep. You love a cigarette when you're talking to certain people on the phone. These are all cues from the environment that go, hey brain, when we're here, we do this. Yep. Hey brain, when it's this time, we do this. And so you identifying all those places and times and spaces where you automatically just reach for it. You probably have it lit before you even realize, oh my God, what am I doing?
For sure.
That right there makes you notice the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And then you going, if I give myself 5 to 10 minutes buffer and I don't have any cigarettes in the house because now I'm making it harder. And there's an additional step, which is if you can also come up with something to replace it with, what's happening is you're not breaking the habit, you're replacing it because habits work in loops.
Okay.
That's how I stopped drinking when I took like a year and a half off. Because I am still, but I was a beer guy.
Okay.
I replaced beer. So at the end of the shift, right?
Yep.
You open a beer.
Yep.
Before you know it, you're on your 20th beer.
Yes. Especially if you're counting tips, dude.
Yeah, 7 nights a week. Well, especially when you have a draft and it's yours and you can just have as many as you want. It's free. But I replaced it by volume with Pellegrino.
Oh, wow.
So ritualistically,
yes, you're still doing the same
thing. I got
thing.
a pint glass.
Oh, you did the pint glass
Pellegrino.
too. Yes.
Yeah.
And I would go all night and I would end up drinking the same amount.
Wow.
But back to kind of what you were saying, I do a kind of a similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I give myself 5 minutes. If I feel like I need, not want, because I can at this point in my life, I can tell when I need a drink and when I would enjoy a drink.
Yes.
Anytime I feel like I need a drink, which typically is around times when I'm like stressed, anxiety, I will practice abstinence. I will not drink if I need a drink.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want a drink, I will let myself have as many as I want. And that's become sort of a thing because I fell on the floor many times because literally and figuratively, because when I needed a drink, that was never a recipe for positivity.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like you're using it to almost mask something.
How old are you guys?
I'm going to be 40 in like a month.
Okay.
I'm 38.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. You look a lot younger than you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have in the last couple of years lost like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And
Really?
I have pictures of me from a decade ago and I look like I'm in my, like when I was in my mid 20s, I looked like I was in my mid 40s.
Wow.
Yeah. And now we've got a buddy who's got a longevity company called Ways to Well. And like every 90 days pull out like 25 vials of blood.
Yeah.
Like every single marker. We're like,
what is the single biggest change that you made that has had the biggest impact on your health?
That's hard.
For me, I mean, I think just, riding on my skateboard, doing things that I love and staying as positive as I can throughout the days. I don't really pay attention to all the negative stuff kind of going on around me that I can't control. I like to focus on things that I can control that are close to me and just be like anything that's going to bring positivity my way. That's what I'm going to focus on. Right. Because I feel like stress is the main kind of culprit when it comes down to like aging and different diseases and etc. Right. Like I just feel like a life free of stress is probably a good thing and that can help you be healthier longer.
Well, I don't think you can have a life free of stress because I have just as much stress. I have a lot more stress now than I had in my 20s, but I've learned tools to deal with the stress.
Deal with the stress.
So the stress doesn't like I used like speaking of like payroll.
Do we have to?
Every other I would go through bouts of depression every other Wednesday through Monday.
That's not depression. That's reality.
Yeah.
Right? No, I'm serious. Like that, because that's a mentally healthy response to payroll
until
issues.
You realize that I really, really subscribe to the idea that if I refuse to fail, then failure is not. If failure is not an option, then it cannot occur.
Well, the only reason why failure happens is people quit.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So if you have a timeline on it,
correct,
you could fail.
Correct. And so for me, like. I learned one day because my wife was like, you're always on edge, depressed, whatever, whenever it's like the bank accounts are low. And I just realized that business is a roller coaster that I don't have to ride. And I was riding it. For years I was riding it. And I just decided I'll observe it. And but then it went from like me having riding the roller coaster and me like actually like losing my breath to me standing next to the roller coaster being like, oop, there it goes, but not having it,
come back?
not having it in my stomach anymore.
Yes.
to now just observing that there is a roller coaster.
Yes. And, I think in those moments, at least when I reflect back on the shift in my mindset that has made the biggest difference, is that I don't know what's going to happen, but I do believe in my ability to both manage it and to figure it out. And not having to have the answers, not having to have certainty out there, but learning how to triple down on my belief in my ability over time to manage something and figure it out. That's been the single biggest differentiator, because when you continue to reinforce that you're capable, it's like all the unknowns don't really matter because you don't have to control them. Yeah. Because you're doubling down on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So after you came up, well, just to get back to the sort of to the story, because I find your story fascinating.
Yep.
What little I know, and I'd like to learn more.
Okay.
So you closed the second restaurant in February of 2008. You woke up the morning 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
How do you get from there to here? Like, what's that? Like, what's
16 years?
Yeah. So take us through sort of this, like,
there
a little
is
bit
no shortcut, by the way. No, I'm not kidding.
No
like, everybody
pills.
wants to know, how do you do this? I'm like,
no. Yeah.
hard fucking work.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I think particularly special about the story, because the story isn't glamorous.
But I think what's special about the story is what you're going to get to, which if I had to guess, it was you looked in the mirror and you said, there's not a damn chance that I'm going to give up and I'm going to fucking make whatever happen because I'm not going back to whatever that was.
I think it was like that. There's not a damn chance I am going to wait for somebody else to fix this.
Yeah, there's not a damn chance, fill in the blank.
Yeah,
But whatever
no one's
that
coming.
is. Yeah.
No one's coming. There's not a damn chance anyone's coming.
Well, he's coming. It looks like
burgers. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Okay.
On cue.
Okay. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Watch this. I am going all in.
You are.
Wait, do you have napkins? Because the juice.
We're gonna need a lot.
The juice is going to be running down my face. Okay. So, what ended up happening? Okay. Have you ever had anybody eat one of these on your podcast?
You were going to be the very first
You're
one.
going to be the first one. Yeah.
We've had many people ask.
Yeah.
Or afterwards say, hey, how come there was no burgers?
Yeah,
okay,
they're like, I
I'm
thought
going
this
to
was like
unwrap this
a food
right
podcast.
now. Oh my God. Okay. This is glistening. And I have been told, I don't know if you guys know this, you don't know this, but my grandfather was an Angus cattle farmer. So I'll have to forgive you for the fact that this is Wagyu, but.
Oh, no way.
Yep. And when I was told that there is a pickle in every bite.
Oh, yeah.
So this looks like a potato roll. Am I right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So this looks like a potato roll.
You can hear that crunch.
Can you? And you know what you can't hear is the fact that the inside is like Thanksgiving mashed potatoes.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 So here's what I like so far. If I'm going to have a burger, I want the beef to bun ratio to be in favor of the beef.
I like the way that you were. If you're not a food reviewer, you should be, because
Really?
you're already using the correct nomenclature.
Really?
Yeah, all of it.
Okay. All right.
I love that.
Because that's one of the most important
All right,
things.
hold
is the
on.
beef
And you
to
know what
bun
I
ratio.
realized? Okay, if I'm going to get a second job here, I got to have it camera side. Okay. So I also like that I know that this is going to be a mouthful. That's what she said, right? It's going to be a mouthful. But it's not one of those that pops your jaw open. Like you gotta like do one of these. Like I can. Oh, this is slippery. That's really good news. I want to bite this section, but I'm not done talking about this yet. The sauce is dripping between. So we didn't do a bun slick. We have sauce in between the layers. I was promised there is a pickle in every bite.
Correct.
Or your money back.
I feel like the pickle in a burger is the most important yet often ignored piece of it.
The most
Totally
negligent
agree.
thing I find when eating other burgers is one pickle off to the corner,
Oh.
and the thing is, so this is 100% Wagyu.
Okay.
Raised in Texas, but genetics coming from Japan.
Okay.
So the meat is fatty. The
Delicious.
sauce is fatty. The cheese is fatty.
Let's
so you
go.
need a lot of pickles to
Okay.
balance all that
All right,
fat.
I'm going in. But so what I also love is that my hands are already greasy. I love that there's a crisp kind of edge to the smashed burger. I love that I'm starting to feel the fat coming through the potato roll. And the good thing about a potato roll is they're more absorbent, so the bun doesn't break apart as it's soaking up this thing. All right, we're going in. Oh my God. Oh, this is amazing.
It's a good burger.
Thank you.
We spent several years
Oh my God.
trying to perfect this burger. And every time we think we got it, we make a small little change.
We make little micro adjustments from time to time. And it's
Oh
like
my God.
what you can see too is like we don't do like that viral known as a smash burger thing where you turn it into like a thin piece of kind of like dried out beef jerky, which is fine, but we don't like to do that. We like to press our patties to be almost like a finger thick so we can keep the integrity of the Wagyu. So it's like juicy and
It's just dripping
flavorful.
all down my hands.
Yeah, that's what we
This
want.
is
you know?
absolutely amazing.
And-
and you've got chopped up onions, but they're
So-
not too sauteed. They're a little crisp.
Yep.
Yeah, so what we do is we smash the meat to get a Maillard reaction on one side.
A who reaction?
Exactly.
It's like the nice crust, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just the it's
So
basically
you got like
it's,
a 500-degree
it's
grill.
basic-
It's like hot as
yeah,
shit.
it's basically the caramelization of the sugars inside the proteins on one side, but then we cover it in onions, like cover it. There's like a cup of onions on there. We flip. You wouldn't even know.
Yeah, there's
we
so many
flip it
onions.
over, and the onions steam the other side of the patty. So one side of the patty is steamed in onion juice, and the other side is crisp. So when you bite into it, you're getting two textures of meat, as opposed to crispy on both sides, which then just eats like a crispy burger.
Yeah.
So you're getting the flavor and the crunch from the sear, but you're also getting the juicy and soft of a more traditional burger.
So is there only one side seared on
Yeah.
each one of these patties,
Yep.
and the underside is where the onions have steamed it?
Steam
Yes.
it up, yep.
You know what? You know, my favorite recipe to cook at home, I'm a huge cook, I got to give a shout out to Josh McFadden. Beef with lots and lots of onions.
Okay.
You take a big, like, cut of any kind of beef. You can do it with a really cheap cut. You take about 6 pounds of onions, cut them up, add some thyme, some butter, a quarter cup of white wine, and you let that sucker cook for like 8 hours.
Oh.
The onions dissolve and become like a French onion soup
like
flavor
sweet.
into the frickin' beef. And this reminds me a little bit of how sweet this is.
Yeah, we always say it eats kind of like a steak because of the onions steaming to one side, you know?
yeah.
This,
kinda
you
gives
know what this
that.
eats like? This eats like one of your most favorite memories that you'll remember
that's what
on your
we're-
deathbed. You'll remember that night you had that burger.
Yeah.
Like somewhere on a beautiful summer night.
When we created it, we wanted it to be like that backyard burger that we remembered as a kid.
that burger
you
you've had
know?
1,000 times,
My burgers didn't take us.
but you've never had it this good.
Yeah.
Are you guys not gonna eat one? This is so good. Oh my God.
I'll have a bite just so that you.
Oh, I don't care.
It's
I'll
like
eat
letting
another
your
one.
friend drink alone. I
No,
can't
I'll
let you
eat-
eat alone.
I'll eat another one. I don't care. This is so good.
Yeah, these I had one
Are
yesterday.
you guys like taking any investors for franchising? I mean, this is fantastic.
We could talk off the air.
Are you going to come to the East Coast?
Yeah, we have one in Soho, New York.
Oh, you do?
and,
Where?
Off of Lafayette, off the
Spring in Cleveland?
Okay.
Yeah, if you get
Wow.
you go off the 6 Spring Street, it's right there. And then
We just opened one in Charlotte.
we just opened one in Charlotte last week.
Oh my God. This is
so
so
we're-
good.
But yes,
Thank
I mean,
you,
so
thank you.
far we've not raised a penny.
Yeah, it's just me and them and our crew that we built.
It is a good fucking burger.
This is outstanding. Oh my God. So do you eat it in the container?
No, but I'm eating over this, and I didn't want to spill.
Oh. I don't care. I mean, you should see my hand. Look at the way that, and they did not give me like a prop burger.
No,
You guys
No.
just came in and threw a bunch that weren't open.
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, we got like a dozen for everybody here too. So you got a random one.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so-
And you know what? You have a pickle in every bite.
Yep.
Wow. Are you so proud of yourself?
We spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I don't think we spend too much time being proud of ourselves as we do being critical of ourselves.
Yeah, we're always our worst critics, you know.
But we're also our biggest fans.
For sure.
I do think that we are very proud. And I think we, you know, but we recognize that the pride doesn't come from the fact that it's just us and we did it and therefore we should be proud. The pride comes from how long and hard we worked. So now when you look at it and you're like, wow, we just opened store number 11.
And how long have you been at it?
This specifically, so the first...
From the, like, put me at the scene. Where were you when you two looked at each other?
I can tell you exactly where we were.
All right, I want to hear it.
We were at my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we started, so you asked earlier how we met, and he told the beginning of the story, which was we met him sitting across from me at my sushi bar called Sushi by Scratch Restaurants, and I skateboarded my whole life. I'm a big fan of skateboarding. I'm a big fan of his. He's sitting there eating my food. We start talking. We're hitting it off. And he's like, yeah, I cook at home too. And of course, you know, everybody cooks at home. But then he starts showing me on his phone what he's cooking at home. And he's like, yeah, I dug a hole in my backyard where I roast, you know, whole animals. And I built this like giant 10-foot masonry hearth where I cook over fire. Now, that's how I made a name for myself. Was back in LA, I had a restaurant that had a 16-foot masonry hearth with no stoves, and we just cooked over fire. And he basically was showing me a picture of a replica of my stove that is not something you're going to buy at Home Depot. You have to actually, it's very niche. We started, you know, we struck up a friendship, and within a couple of weeks, you know, they were living in Fort Worth. His wife and fiance or girlfriend at the time, wife now, they came down, and it was like, they like stayed at the house for the weekend, and
we just started hanging tough.
But what we did is we cooked, and so like we roasted a whole pig. We'd cook steaks. We'd cook venison, and we had just gotten back, my wife and I, from Bangkok. We were there for 3 months opening a restaurant. We were going to open a burger shop. COVID was going on, so we never ended up opening it. And we were talking one night, and I was like, man, I have this we had like the place was built, the menus were there, the POS was there. I had been testing the burgers. We went to like the markets in Bangkok and found the beef and everything. Very different burger from this. So it's not like we just took that. But we were talking about it and we're like, yo, let's make a burger. So the next time we hung out, we drove to HEB, we bought all the stuff. And as we were getting ready to do it, and we're just going to put salt and pepper on it. So Neen has a spice company, a seasoning company.
Yeah. You do?
Called NADC Co.
You guys are so cool.
Thanks. I created it in like 2018. I just wanted to make, because I started getting into meal prep and like eating like healthier at home and stuff. Before this, I was just like a crazy skater, just eating whatever I could afford, you know? So I created a spice rub company 2018 and just kind of started selling them from my house. And I gave them to Philip.
So I had all of these spices, and he was like, yo, instead of salt and pepper, let's use one of my spices.
Yeah.
Is that what's in the ketchup?
It's on the burger.
It's on the burger.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's spice in that ketchup too.
A little chipotle.
A little bit of chipotle.
Okay, got you.
Yep.
So the spice blend that he has that I was like putting on the steaks and stuff, he's like, let's put it on the burger.
Okay.
And so we started seasoning it with his spice blend. His spice blend is called NADC.
Not a damn chance. Yep.
And so for the next, we just started making, and now instead of like a pig sometimes and a steak sometimes,
it's just
burgers every time. And so for the first year or two of the existence of NADC, we never sold a burger. We would show up at a comedy show, and for the after party, we would give away free burgers. We'd show up to a skate park.
Yeah, we would just go and like, we'd put our money together and do like 50 doubles, the same exact burger that you're eating right now. And we would just roll up with the flat top.
Well, the beta version of the burger you're eating
the beta version, yeah.
So good.
We'd roll up with the flat top.
That?
No, it's all you.
Because I'm going to eat this.
Yeah. No, I just had a ton of chicken before I came here. So
okay. Don't disrespect your own burger. I'm going to eat it. I'm happy you're not hungry.
Oh, I've eaten hundreds of them.
Oh my God. I'm having another one.
But yeah, so we just gave them away for free for a year or two with no intention of starting a business. And I mean, he has several careers. I have several restaurants, like burgers. Like, what are we going to? Don't have time.
And so what happened?
Time for a friend of ours had a bar, which is no longer there on Rainy Street here in Austin.
Yep.
He had a kitchen in the back.
Okay.
And he was like, dude, he had been talking to us for a while. Like, you got to sell these burgers. They're the best burgers ever. And we're like, eh. And one day he's like, well, what if you come in and teach my team how to make them, and I'll just give you like a royalty on each burger I sell.
Oh, and then you were like, no.
So we said, okay.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So that's so.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Why did you do that?
Well, we weren't going to fucking do it.
Because to this point, we were just kind of having fun.
It was just fun.
This was like something that we would do on a Saturday. It was like, let's just make burgers, like cool, And then when he approached us and he had a team and an open kitchen for us to kind of have our first actual spot in the back of this bar, we were like, okay, like we'll get a royalty from it, but it was a nice, percentage of the royalty, right?
And we still owned the burger and
the burger,
like that.
everything was still ours. We just have his team kind of running it, and we have
Think
a
of it
restaurant,
like a
right?
Think of it like a franchise.
Okay. Only you're like reverse franchising yourself. Okay,
Kind
go
of.
ahead.
And what ends up happening is the burger caught fire. And it got super popular.
Opening day, there was like 600 people in line or something like that.
Yeah, it was like super popular. And like, because Philip and I have other careers, like we were just able to put all the money right back into it, and then started to open up like our own ones around the city, and then Chicago, and then
now,
around
does
the
this
country.
original dude still make your burger?
No.
Okay, so talk to me about that. What happened?
His bar is no longer there.
Oh,
yeah. So our first business model was, so in Austin, all the bars have either a food truck connected to them or a small kitchen.
Okay.
It's not like other cities. Like in LA, if you go to a bar, you drink.
Yeah.
Here in Austin, you go to a bar and there's some
food
sort
truck,
of like hole in the wall, like window.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's part of the Austin culture.
Got it.
And
okay.
so our first,
it's almost like a pop-up inside of a restaurant. So
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
a real estate
Yeah,
place.
exactly.
It's exactly
got
what it is.
Okay.
So it wasn't like you couldn't like go to hit up to his bar and like order a burger. In the back, if you go to the bar and you'd walk down the back hallway, there was a cutout window that looked like a drive-through for
cool.
NADC.
And that was
it was
our burger
awesome.
spot.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you now. I'm like imagining like a restaurant.
No.
and you just
No,
added your burger.
No.
Okay,
no.
this is like a pop-up inside a cool spot.
We've only done
Yeah,
that
with a
once.
secret thing. Okay, gotcha.
We've only done that once.
You did that once?
Yeah. Well, so Jelly Roll, the artist,
yep.
he has a club called Goodnight Nashville on Broadway, and it was very important to him that this burger was on his menu. So you can get a steak, or under burgers you can get like the barbecue burger or whatever, or you can get Jelly's favorite burger, and then below it NADC.
Yeah,
and then
it's pretty
you
sick.
actually get it, and it comes out
my God,
like
I love
this.
Yeah, box
so
and everything.
That's because that's like a friend thing.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
Cool.
but our original business model was, let's go find bars that need some food.
Yeah.
Because burgers are great drunk food.
That's
and
true.
so we would go to a bar operator and say, hey, we have a burger that's got a cult following online. Hundreds of people will show up a day. If the burger is in your bar, you'll get a few hundred people who will buy your drinks.
Smart.
So we'll get the burger sales, you'll get the drink sales.
Yep.
Now you'll keep, there's a split. It's not like we get 100% of the burger sales. But they could use it as both marketing for them, because every person who comes in for a burger is going to get a fucking beer.
And then you know what you do? You use that as your location strategy to research locations for where it really goes. And then you also open up one of your corporate-owned ones.
Then we opened our first flagship.
In Nashville.
Well, we're opening in Nashville.
That's coming soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
See, that's you're like,
I love it.
you're like wetting the whistle in here.
But yeah, no, it's been. But enough about us.
Okay. I'm so interested. I'm sorry, you probably told this on your own show.
No.
No.
I mean, if you want to hear more, well, I'm happy
Well,
to
I
go
just think
further
it's a
into it.
really. What I find fascinating is that if you were to take probably the top 5 dreams that people have, you would absolutely put writing a book up there. But another one would be opening a restaurant.
Yeah, that is supposedly the American dream, right?
Yeah, so many people have a dream in that regard, and so I think it's really fascinating. I'm probably going to belch again. I haven't even had a beer.
We need like a burp button.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. You can play it. I don't care. Yeah. It is so good. I can't believe I'm gonna have 2 double cheeseburgers while I sit here.
Yes.
It is so interesting to think about it in a different way. And what I love about your story, whether you have a dream of going into the restaurant business or not, is that there's a million ways to figure something out. Mm-hmm. Like it never would have occurred to me that you could do a pop-up just in the back of a bar and figure that out.
Yeah.
Or that you could do a licensing situation. Mm-hmm. And if you only ever look at the thing that you want to do through one lens, it's got to be a retail thing. It's got to be this. It's got to look like that.
Well, there's a reason that restaurants are statistically the number one most failing business. And it's because the current framework for restaurants, it doesn't work. And it hasn't worked for a long time. It works in very, very small scenarios. Mm-hmm. And so, like, for me, I think I had a dozen restaurants before we opened our first NADC. So I was able to take more than a decade of ownership experience and all the ups and downs. And like our first restaurant that we opened, we turned our 1-bedroom apartment into a restaurant.
Really?
Yeah, that's how my wife and I started.
Wow. Did your neighbors know?
I didn't care. We were in West Hollywood. Nobody pays attention.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking New York. I'm like, is he cooking curry again tonight? Like, is that 17 people up there?
But the reason is restaurants have no barrier for entry. It's one like you want to be a do people's nails, you need a permit.
True.
You want to do makeup, you want to cut hair, you got to go get certified.
That's true.
You want to open a bank, you can't go open a bank. You know what you can do? If you got $50,000 in your grandma's baked bean recipe, you too can open a restaurant. And that's why they don't work. Because there's so many like difficult things that you would never think about how to run a restaurant. Coupled with the fact that people pay too much. The problem is your startup costs can just get astronomical. So like my wife and I figured out of just sheer, like we were like, we are going to have our own spot. So like we started opening restaurants on shoestrings. And we're just like, we're going to figure it out. And so I really think that has helped inform this, because by the time we get to here and we go, what should we do with it? I'm like, well, I've done pop-ups, turned this into that.
Smart man.
Yeah. Experienced man. I'm not very smart. If I was smart, I would have picked something else to do with my life.
Well, we have a really good experienced crew as well behind us, and very passionate staff members that I'd like to give a shout out to as well, that, make sure the burger is delicious every time, or it just smacks every time,
Oh,
so
it does.
Like, we have like very like passionate people that work for the business, which has been really awesome. Super grateful for that.
Well, we've always treated it like a family.
Yeah.
So like in Scratch Restaurants Group, which is my company that technically now services NADC, my wife and I own it. My father-in-law builds all our restaurants. My sister is our CFO for both companies. My other sister works in the office. My youngest brother works at NADC.
Yeah.
My oldest younger brother was one of our chefs for 9 years. He just broke off, opened his first restaurant.
My wife works for the restaurant.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
NADC.
it truly is a family affair.
I love that.
And so obviously we employ a lot of people who aren't related by blood or love, but they are. That's just
family.
It's still how we run the company, regardless of. There's so much family in it that it'd be weird to like turn off the family thing and turn on the employee thing.
Yes. Well, that's cool. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
I
appreciate that. Let's get back into your story.
Oh, you don't need to. I'm not done yet. Okay, I was like, don't have to. Like when the waitress comes too soon, you're like, give me that thing.
You're lucky she didn't have a fork. I think it went right to the top of your hand.
No, but thank you for taking the trash away.
I had a question, because I feel like a lot of people kind of deal with like what was going on in your life at that point, where like I'm bringing you back, where everything seemed like it was lost and it was hopeless, and you were drinking super heavy, you're staying in bed, and you talked yourself into this thing one time after seeing this rocket on the TV, right? But I wanted to ask, like, how many times did you try to talk yourself into that, to where it finally made sense, and you're finally like, all right, I'm getting up, I'm going to change what's going on here.
Every single day, I would be in a battle with myself. See, I choose to believe that people innately want to do well. Mm-hmm. They want to thrive. You're not an idiot. You know when you're not doing well. You know when you're quietly giving up on yourself. I personally believe that the hardest working kid, for example, in a classroom is not the kid getting A's. It's the kid who's failing. Mm-hmm. Like, do you know how hard it is to sit in a classroom and day in and day out know that you're not rising to your potential and you don't know how to bridge the gap? Mm-hmm. And so I believe that people change for one of two reasons. They either have a moment of clarity about what they truly want and what truly matters, or in my case, you have so much pain building up that the scales tip when it comes to brain wiring and motivation, and staying where you're at is actually more painful than avoiding the things that you've been talking yourself out of doing for years. And so whether that's leaving the relationship, or it's quitting alcohol, or it's getting out of bed, or it's looking for the job, that there is a certain amount of pain that a lot of people need, I am one of them, in order to jumpstart the circuitry in your brain to go at the thing that you've been avoiding. And the brain, and this is, in researching and writing the Let Them Theory book, one of the most fascinating experts, there's like 57 world-renowned experts that contributed to the book and I spoke to in researching and creating this theory. Dr. K. Do you guys know Dr. K? He goes by the Healthy Gamer online. He's fucking, you got to have him on. He's unbelievable.
He's dope.
Oh, beyond dope. He got like
all right, let's take a note. Healthy
Gamer.
K.
Healthy Gamer.
Yeah, so he'll tell you his whole story, but he basically nearly failed out of college, applied to medical school 93 times until he got in, and ends up finally getting into medical school, and he becomes a psychiatrist and gets into the Harvard system and specializes in gaming addiction, and studied the circuitry of the brain and what motivates people in his desire to help kids and help people who were addicted to gaming. Long and the short of it is, his research is so amazing, and now he's online as a Healthy Gamer. He's on Twitch all the time, and he also trains other therapists in the different practices that he has been using clinically. But he basically said, none of us understand our motivational circuitry. Your brain is not wired to do the thing that's hard. Your brain defaults to what feels easy.
Yeah.
And that's just how you're wired. And when you recognize, oh, wait a minute, motivation's garbage. My brain will avoid the thing that's hard. That's why we sit on the couch. That's why we scroll for an hour.
You almost have to be defiant, right?
You do. He actually says that one of his strategies is you're sitting on the couch, you've been there too long, you promised yourself you'd work on your resume or you'd work on your business plan, you'd go for a walk.
I was saying, for me, I have to be defiant. I have to be like, you don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
You have
the edge is important.
Yeah.
The edge is important because the edge snaps you out of the emotional lull that you're in, because you're now in this kind of zombie loop as you're sitting on the couch and you're flipping through the channels. You told yourself you'd go to the gym. You told yourself you'd make the phone call. He recommends that you say, I know I don't want to do it. I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to go do this thing. Like, you talk back to yourself in a way like, fuck, like what you're trying, fuck off. Don't be an asshole. Yeah. I know it's going to suck, but I'm doing it. And that signals to the brain, you can stop resisting it now. Because I hear you, but we're doing it. And so I love his research because I was in that conflict. I think anybody who has not gotten to a point in their life where they're sort of in a zone, right? And you feel like you're working on something that's important to you and you feel pretty good about who you are as a person and you're trying your best. If you're not in that zone, you are in tension with yourself because you yourself know there is some bigger possibility for you. You yourself know that the decisions that you're making, whether it's drinking too much or letting your body go or being a dick to your family or like not figuring your stuff out and or taking a break from dating because you're in this cycle of just being with the wrong people, you know.
Yeah. You need to step up and
well, you need a moment where you're like, how this is going isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
And people only get that because of clarity or pain. And often you need the pain to get the clarity. And so for me, it was a couple years of being in conflict with myself. And once I had a tool, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to help me push through my own resistance to changing, my own overwhelm, the very real excuses. Like one of the sayings that I hate that saying, everything happens for a reason. I don't believe that. I believe life can be very unfair. I believe shit can happen to you that you do not deserve. But I think what that saying means is that things happen to you and you have an option to find a reason to keep going. You have the ability to have a reason to make a change.
Could that not be like, if everything happens for a reason, could that not be the reason that it happened to you was to give you fuel for your fire?
That presumes that you deserved the horrible thing. And I don't like that you actually needed it. I think you can reframe after you're through it. Like I would never say to anybody, oh, your father died. Well, it happened for a reason. Mm-hmm. Like you need to get your shit together. Like that's not true. Like there's shitty things that happen to people. They do not deserve it. It can be random and cruel and unfair. And you still, through your attitude and your actions, can change something for the better and find a reason to start where you are, despite the things that you may have experienced, and still move forward. Can you learn from the terrible things? Of course. Yeah. And we often do. But I don't think that means you deserve it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I don't think that the idea, but do you think that that's what that means? When
yes,
you say,
I do. I think people get very...
No, but about deserving it.
No, I think when people throw around, everything happens for a reason. They're
well, most people are
about,
using it as just a saying to say "c'est la vie."
Yes, but I am somebody that really believes deeply in understanding some of the things that are happening around the world that are unfair to people.
Yeah.
That it is true that based on, where you were born or what circumstances you were born into, there are unfair disadvantages that are stacked against you. Does that mean you're not going to be successful? Of course not. But I think it's important to really be honest and meet people where they are. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that have had really shitty things happen to them that were not their fault, that happened in their childhood. And you can get beyond your childhood and do a lot of work to understand how things that happened that were not your fault truly shaped you as an adult. And you can change and you can reframe things and you can see how something that happened way back there, it didn't happen for a reason. Mm-hmm. I found a reason to reframe it. Okay. And to put it into a context so that it no longer had power over me.
So I think the reason I'm not pushing back on it.
You can push back all you want. I'll push right the fuck back. Let's go.
And you're fueled by 2 cheeseburgers right now, so you got something.
Which means I'm about to take a nap. So you got to hurry up if we're going to start arguing.
So there has been a lot that has happened to me, myself, Margarita, like our family, in terms of our business. We have had things that are cruel, unfair.
Yep.
We've had people embezzle. I've been swindled into signing personal guarantees for everything. I've been sued by I've had the IRS liens. I've had the purveyors sue me, all because someone else tricked me.
Yeah.
I've had I've been extorted. I've been sued. I've had restaurants stolen. I've had all of those things, and it would take a long time to tell the whole story, but every one of them made me feel like I was going to die. And every one of them was the hardest thing I've ever gone through. And I would never, ever go back in time and change any of that.
Yep.
Because of what it has made me now today.
Yes.
And so now when I'm saying everything happens for a reason, I'm looking at it through the lens of all of the bad shit of my parents getting a divorce. I now am a father because of how I saw my family.
Uh-huh.
I have an amazing father, so I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But like, I think that I have I've been married for 13 years, and I have that marriage because I watched a marriage crumble.
Yep.
So all the terrible things that happened to me, I'm able to, and maybe it's my delusional optimism, but I'm able to put together why, at least for most of the things. But some things I can't.
Maybe it's what
it is.
What did I learn from this? Mm-hmm. Because I don't think your parents got divorced so that you could become a better spouse.
Agreed. But that, so then is it about the intentionality of the thing
I
that
just feel like there is a very toxic positivity association with that phrase that discounts the truth about life.
I agree fully with that.
That is, shitty things happen that you do not deserve or had nothing to do with. And that doesn't mean it happened for a reason so that you could have something happen to you in the future. You looked backwards and said, what do I want to learn from this? Mm-hmm, and what do I want to take responsibility for changing so that I learn from this? And, look at the word responsibility. Responsibility is just the ability to respond. Mm-hmm. And when you can take a lens in life where two things can be true at once, your parents' marriage can fall apart and you're not responsible for that. It didn't happen so that you can be like a better spouse, and you could learn something that helps you become a better you.
I like that idea. I don't know. I like my delusional optimism.
You know what? Let them.
But
I'm gonna let you have it.
But I do want to agree with you fully that that phrase being used as almost like a scapegoat.
Yes.
Is horrible.
Yes.
For sure.
Because I do think, and I think we are agreeing.
I feel like you guys
I think we're saying the same thing. But that's part of, I think, having this mindset of like, I'm going to take responsibility.
Well, because shit's going to happen. Yeah. Now what? Mm-hmm. Like, now what? Like, you, in life, shit's going to happen. And there is a period where it's a sign that you're mentally well if you crumble. Mm-hmm. And then there comes a time, and maybe I'm just Midwestern pragmatic, where if the crumbling isn't helping you, now what?
Yeah.
What can you do that could move things in a different direction? And the one thing I refuse to believe that you cannot make your life a little better. I refuse to believe that.
For sure. Like, instead of staying in a little dark hole, in a dark cloud, just feeling depressed, it's like...
Well, you need to, right?
For
because
a little bit
you have to. Well, and some people need it for a year, or they need it, but there will come a time, because nobody else can change you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the one thing in life you can never control is other people, what they do, what they say, what they think, what they believe. If they change, if they heal, if they're motivated, if they make money, if they reach their potential, all out of your control.
Yep.
And some people and some circumstances, people just take the time that they need until the pain of being where you're at gets to a point where it's harder to stay where you are. And that's what happened to me. Mm-hmm. Like, I never thought I'd be the kind of person that would just not be able to get out of bed and get my kids on the bus. Like, I can't even imagine it. And so when you're in it, having a little bit of grace for yourself and understanding that you're not having a crisis in your ability, you're having a crisis of hope and belief in your ability to make this situation a little better. And if there's anything that I focus on in the work that I do, it's not just the information. Because, again, you can get advice from any AI platform that will work if you do it. But if you are missing this sense of hope that it might just help, you won't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that because I was so in it myself. And so I can't put a timeline on somebody else's suffering because I can't change them. And I probably could have woke my ass up earlier, but for whatever reason, it took a certain amount of just the cauldron of it going down. And, like you, I've had all that shit go down to me too. Whether it's somebody, a victim of wire fraud, lost, like just on and on. And part of it is that you just don't know until you know.
Yeah, sometimes you got to hit rock bottom to see it.
Yes. Well, when you hit rock bottom, you hit something solid inside yourself, which is the will to change.
And then it's like, it's time.
Yes. So somebody, like, when somebody's ready to change because they're actually changing their behavior.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
What is your thought on, in the same context, hope versus faith?
I personally use them interchangeably. Mm-hmm. And the way that I think about faith is that I can stand in this present moment and I can look backwards and see all the things, good and bad, that have ever happened to me or the people that I care about along the way, all the mistakes, all the regrets, all the shit I wish I hadn't done. And I can see what it taught me, and I can understand how everything connects to this moment. I believe faith is the ability to stand in the present moment and hold the belief that this moment too is just a dot on the path that will connect to a moment in the future where you'll look back and you'll say, oh, I can understand what I learned, even though I didn't want to learn this, even though I may not deserve that this is happening, even though this is unfair. I have faith that someday I will get through this, that I have the ability to manage this, that this is going to be temporary, as painful as it is, that I have faith in my ability to see myself through, to hold my hand through this, and to know that some of the best days of my life are ahead of me and I can get myself through this. I think that's what faith is.
I love that.
I like that a lot because I have faith right here on my hand and it's facing me to remind me to have faith.
Yeah.
And that's like the expert version of my understanding.
I love that.
Because the reason I have it, when you decide to cook forever, you're going to do this.
Ooh, I love that.
So all I'm doing is staring at my hand as I'm chopping. And it reminded me when I was younger, because I started cooking when I was like 18. And when I was doing that, you're not getting nights and weekends off. You're not getting Valentine's Day off. It's New Year's Eve. Where's my girlfriend? It's 1:00. I'm still working. She's not answering her phone. All of those types of things. What's happening with my family? I got it for those reasons to remind me that I am where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
But I'd never thought about it as, because I do look back in the way that I just explained. I look back and I'm like, oh, these things were all crucial to help develop me to the way I become. But I've never thought of it as I am where I'm supposed to be because that is the next dot on the storyline.
Yes. Yes.
I like that.
Thank you. It's gotten me through some really tough times.
Where did you get the idea to write your book, your new one?
The Let Them Theory book?
Yes.
So I've been trying to be more stoic my entire life.
Okay.
And you can read all the Marcus Aurelius you want, but if you're stressed out and pissed off, try remembering it. And I'm married to a man who's a death doula and a Buddhist now, and who leads men's retreats and is a spiritual psychologist. He's the chillest motherfucker you've ever met.
Let's go.
Super annoying for a control freak like me.
Yes.
We've been together 29 years, and I have always wanted to be able to let things go. But to me, letting something go feels like I've lost because it requires you to surrender. And so the way that the two words "let them" hit me is I was just being a super micromanaging mother at my son's high school dance because I wanted to get the Christmas photo while we were all home.
Oh yeah.
And I'm microing the tie, and I bought the corsage for the date, even though he told me she didn't want one. And then I pull it out as she's putting a boutonniere on. I see she's made herself one, and everyone's like, cringe. Oh my God. And everybody's had either a mother that's been like this, or you've been the mother that's this way, where you wish you could take, as the words are coming out of your mouth, you wish you could get them back in. And the eye rolls from my daughters. And I was just like barking at my son to do something as we're trying to take the family photo. And my daughter, Kendall, she had long almond-shaped nails. And she grabs my bicep and digs them into my bicep. And she's like, Mom, you're being so annoying. Let them. And she started just cascading. Let them do what they want. Let them go out in the rain. Let them go eat tacos. Don't. And she just kept saying it. And that between the nails and the 10 different, let them do what they want to do. It's their prom, not yours. I probably heard these words 10,000 times in my life, said them that many times. But that's when the power hit me.
Damn.
I was like, why do I give a shit?
Yeah.
And then the next morning, I just started to notice as I'm standing in a long line at the grocery store, and it's like, beep, beep, beep. 5 people in front of me. No other cash registers open. And the volcano's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, let them.
Yeah.
And traffic, you're gripping the wheel and there's an idiot in front of you. Why are you allowing all of the stupid things in modern life and all the annoying things that other people do? The close talkers, the slow walkers, the people that want a meeting at 5:00 on a Friday, the expectations, the guilt, the this. And I never realized until I started saying, let them, which here's how don't even have to buy the book. The best people to buy the book for is your family, because you've been trying to change them and you're judging them. And this will bring so much peace because your mother's not changing. Neither's your dad. Your siblings are who they are. So when you learn to let them, you're learning to love them as they are.
Yeah.
Because we all have families, so you can learn to love people you hate. That's what families do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started just saying it anytime I was stressed and a funny thing happened. 100% of the time it was because of other people. And I had no idea how often other people were occupying space in my mind. The friends that didn't invite me to lunch, the sister that, the brother that didn't call me back. How often other people's behavior and my expectations were causing me to feel stress, and let them became this huge boundary where I wasn't I was checking myself at any moment when I started to feel the world get into me. And I shared about it online. It went insane. We did one episode about it on the podcast. It exploded. Therapists started to write to us. They're like, this is detachment theory in 2 words. This is radical acceptance. Oh my God, this is the serenity prayer. This is stoicism. And so I went to work. I wrote the first version of the book and it just poured out of me. And I thought the concept was super simple. I thought, okay, this is going to be one of these like graduation speech bathroom books. And I write this whole manuscript and the whole thing's like, let them. And something was wrong. And I thought, there's something missing. And at this point, our daughter, who had worked at a big cybersecurity firm, she's 26 now. She was like 24 at the time. She had left her job after 3 years and had gone solo backpacking around Asia for 5 months. And she came home dead broke and had to move in with, mom and dad. And the one thing she was clear about in life is she never wanted to work with me. And because we're opposite. She's like Excel spreadsheet on legs, and I am a mice in a cardboard box tipped over in a kitchen. And I said to her, I see an opportunity here. You need money because you want to move out. And I have a research project and my team's maxed out. And I need somebody to go look at all the inbox and look at the comments. And I don't want to know why people love this. I want to know what's not working. Because something's missing in this book. And I thought it'd take her 4 weeks. She came back 36 hours later with a 28-page analysis in a tabled, color-coded, drop-down menu, source to the thing. And she's like, Mom, you can't write the book. And I said, why? And she said, oh, people love saying let them because you feel better than everybody. It rhymes with fuck them. So, when somebody hurts your feelings or somebody's rude or somebody breaks up with you and you're like, let them. it's that attitude
that
actually helps you detach from the emotion. That's why it works. But the more that you say, let them, you start to notice, wait a minute, my siblings never call me back. Wait a minute, my friends, I'm the one reaching out, but they don't actually invite me anywhere. Wait a minute, I'm sleeping with this person who doesn't want to put a label on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to just let them? Like, am I like a loser that's getting walked all over? My boss disrespect. And so she's like, people are starting to feel disempowered. And she said and I said, well, what do you? And she said, there has to be a second part. I'm like, well, what's the second part? And she said, well, obviously, it's let me. It's the part where once you recognize you've given power to all these people, you take it back. And this is where Stoicism really comes into play. This is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, the entire thesis of the book. What's happening out there is beyond your control. Your power is in your response to it. But if you're already stressed out, how do you control your response? See, in life, there's only 3 things you can actually control. It's what you think about what's happening. It's what you do or don't do. And it's how you process and respond to the emotions that automatically rise up in you, because you can't control the chemical explosion that is your emotion. That's all you got. That's it. Everything else is a giant illusion in terms of what you can control. And so we went to work and we wrote this book together. She's 26. We argued over every word. We probably used it every day 57 times with each other because you have somebody in your life that you love and it's just like a mismatch. Mm-hmm. You're like, why can't we get along? Like, why is this always so difficult? And this forced us, because here's the beautiful thing about the let them theory. It's 4 words. 4 words, let them and then let me, help you apply Stoicism, the Serenity Prayer, Buddhism, radical acceptance, detachment theory as a tool for modern life. At a moment in history where the world feels like it's spinning off its axis, every human being is in a state of chronic stress, so they're super annoying, and you yourself are overwhelmed and frazzled. And so let them cues you, oh, I'm not in control here. I can't control it. Then let them. Let them say what they're going to, let them do what they're going to do. Let this customer be pissed off. It's like, let them have the dignity of their own experience. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be everybody's parent. Now let me take a breath. And based on my values, based on how tired I am right now, based on how important this is, let me choose what I'm going to think about this. Let me choose how I'm going to respond to this. Yeah. Let me decide whether my emotions are going to run me over and I send a single-spaced 90-minute long email because I'm like, oh, which is nothing. Or let me take a beat and say, let me decide, how do I want to respond? Do I want to respond now? Because that's where my control is. And what happens is as you start to use these 2 words, you're going to be astonished by how much you have disrespected yourself and given your time away and poured your energy into stupid shit. How often you've allowed other people's drama to become your priority, how often other people have occupied your mind, how often you have stayed in friendships or worse, romantic relationships where the person is clearly treating you poorly. They don't want to put a label on it. That means they don't like you. Mm-hmm. They like to sleep with you. That's what that means. Mm-hmm. And so when you say let them, you're not allowing that to happen. You're forcing yourself to recognize the reality of what's happening. Because how somebody treats you is how they feel about you. And people's behavior is not confusing. We confuse ourselves by trying to explain it away and thinking we can change people and thinking it's our fault. No. Just let people reveal who they are. And then let me choose. Is this attractive to me? Yeah. Is this job, it's not the only job on the planet. At any point, I could take my energy and time and start working on my resume instead of telling myself a lie that I got to put up with a job. That means you can't quit. That I'm not saying. You got to pay your bills. Do it. But spend your weekend empowering yourself to get a different job. Yeah. And so this cut through all the bullshit so fast for me. This is on track to be the most successful nonfiction book ever written. 8 million copies sold in 11 months.
Ooh, let's go.
63 languages.
Wow.
And more importantly, it is helping people, because the beautiful thing about the let them theory is it not only teaches you to respect your time and energy and protect it from things that really aren't important and that are beyond your control. But that also then makes you feel so empowered because you realize you do have control. Yeah. Like the more that you focused on living your life in a way that makes you proud, the more you focus on doing things that make you feel good about yourself, the more that ripples through your family and through your community. And that's how we change everything. The more that you stop self-silencing because you're lying to yourself saying, oh, everybody must believe with what I see in the headlines. Bullshit. No, 5% of the most extreme voices take up 90% of the airwave. One out of every 4 interactions you have online is with a bot. I mean, everybody's self-silencing right now. And the more that you let me start living my life in a way that really aligns with what I believe. Let me just start having a conversation about what I feel. And what you're going to notice is 99% of the people that you are going to talk to largely believe the same things you do, largely want the same things you want. We may disagree on how to make it happen, but there's so much to be optimistic about, despite how terrifying things are and how awful things feel for so many people right now and in the world at large. But you can't gaslight yourself into believing that you have no power. Like you're powerful beyond belief if you stop giving all that power to everybody else's bullshit and you take it back. And what I love the most is that it is making such a difference with people's families, because you will never make your relationships with the people that you care about most better by trying to change them. And we are all so judgy of our families. And if you can learn how to let your mom be your mom, let your dad be your dad, who he is, who he isn't, and you do the let me part, and you focus on changing your energy and focus on changing how you show up in these relationships, everything shifts. It's just unbelievable, because none of us have had the experience of truly feeling like we are seen and loved for who we are. We have the experience of constantly feeling like everybody that cares about us is constantly trying to change us. And so I feel like I'm in a second marriage, only it's with the first person I married.
That's beautiful.
Yes. And I feel like the most challenging people in my life, whether it's somebody that has a narcissistic personality style, which by the way is not what they chose. If you look at the research, it's made during childhood through emotional neglect and other behaviors that were not the kid's fault. Mm-hmm. And most people that have that kind of personality style don't even know that they do. Like, I think it is highly inaccurate to say that people with a narcissistic personality style are manipulative, because I don't think they're doing anything but reacting. And most of us have somebody like that in our life. And unlike social media tells you, we're not just going to cut them out of our life, because we still value wanting to have a relationship with family or with a long-standing friend. And so the question becomes, how do you let somebody be that way? Well, that's what you do. Yeah. And now for the first time in your life, you're actually not bracing, because you're not expecting or hoping they're going to change. Yeah. You're accepting them as they are. You see them eyes wide open and you're like, okay, let me just know if I'm going to be with this person. It's just 2 hours.
I love, maybe I need to check out this book, but
I know.
I might know somebody that has a copy.
Well, I like the idea. I like the whole premise of it. What I also like is that 8 million people have bought it. And if they actually, it seems like if they actually read it, there will be a little bit less honking on the freeway. The people will be nicer to each other. People will start to engage a little bit more. I think that's really, and it almost kind of leads me into, so at the end of, as we sort of like start to wrap up, we always ask, so we never plan anything except for our final question. Because we're sort of talking about like this book has the potential to actually shape.
It is shaping.
Is currently shaping the world that we live in.
Yes.
And our wrap-up question always is, Neen pulls out a magic lamp, puts it on the table, Genie comes out, but you only get one wish. That wish, though, is to design, start to finish, what your entire universe looks like 10 years from now. What does your world look like 10 years from now?
Easy. I am waking up on a Saturday morning at the house I currently live in on a mountain in Vermont. And I am making a cup of coffee. And I'm walking out to my back deck and sitting down in my Adirondack chair. And my 2 dogs, although one of them's probably dead at that point, so I'll have a different dog. But my 2 dogs are running around. And my husband comes walking out and sits down next to me. And the phone rings, and it's one of our kids, and they're talking about, like, what's going on, and then they're yelling and saying, oh, I got to go, like, my spouse, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, great, okay, when am I going to see? Okay, awesome. Like, tell so-and-so. I said, great. And then I turn to my husband, and I say, today's going to be a good day. And that's what my universe looks like.
You won.
I love it. I love
well,
that.
I mean, you know,
you beat the game.
Well, at 41, like I'm so grateful that this happened late in life, because if you have an experience, especially later in life or midlife, where you almost lose everything that matters, you don't forget what matters. Mm-hmm. And so I have become more successful than I ever imagined possible. Yeah. I have paid off my debt and then some. I have put away a ton of savings. But more importantly, I have done the work to become a better version of myself. I have become a person that I am proud of, that, I can root for. I have become a better spouse, a better mom, better friend, better daughter, better sister. And I think that, when you reach this level of success, I mean, I host one of the top podcasts in the world. When you reach this level of success, everyone's like, well, what are you going to do next? What do you want? I feel like, what more could you want? Yeah. Like, I just want more time with the people that I care about while they're still here. I want to continue to feel like I'm doing the best to be a good person that tries hard and that's kind to people and that leaves the world a little bit better place than I found it. Because if you're not doing that with this one life that you have, then what the fuck are you doing?
Well, it sounds like
I love that.
That sounds like what you're doing.
I love that.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
And I forgot one detail.
Yes, please.
There would be a not a damn chance burger for dinner that night.
We've opened one on a mountainside in Vermont.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. This has been amazing. I know it's inspirational for us.
Oh,
I'm sure everyone at home.
I'm fired up right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Hit subscribe now if you want to follow along. We have some awesome guests lined up that we sit down with. Make sure you follow the Not a Damn Chance podcast on socials at NADC Podcast. We'll see you next week.